Well, hey there, I'm Brad Caston, and welcome back to another acrylic pouring tips and tricks video. This video is all about paint mixing sticks. Wow, is that exciting or what? Now, I've gone through quite a journey in my paint mixing stick experience. I've used all kinds of different things. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work. I've been on a quest to find the perfect paint mixing stick, and I think I found it. It's pretty awesome. It's hard to beat. It's the best thing I found. I'll be sharing that with you in a second. But first, let's start off with what everyone uses all the time. It's what I started with. It's the simple craft stick. This is even the more advanced craft stick. It's the bigger one. A lot of people start out with the little tiny popsicle stick one, but this one is just easier to hold. It's just what I went to immediately. It's just the easiest thing to find. It's in pretty much every craft store, Michael's, Walmart, you name it, you could probably find it. It's fine, it's okay. I don't have anything against the wood stick, other than it kind of hurts my hand after a while. I can only mix up so much paint, and oh my God, I start cramping up. But it's the go-to. But I used this for quite a while, but then I'm dumping all kinds of sticks all the time. I tried to save them. Now I save them in a jar like this, and I don't really use them for mixing as much now, but I use them to just dump in my empty cups of paint, and then I pull out the excess paint. We talked about that in another video. If you haven't seen that video, you can check it out up here or up here, wherever that shows up. Anyway, so the craft stick, the big one, the jumbo size, is the go-to for so many beginning and advanced paint pours, and it's hard to beat it. So anyway, I moved on from the stick. I thought I can try to find something better. I'm an artist. I've been doing painting and all kinds of things for a long time. So I went to a palette knife, and this is just a cheap plastic palette knife. I also have like a straight palette knife that's a super cheap one. You can get packs of these, at least you used to, in the dollar store. So I bought a bunch of these. I was like, this is perfect. It's got like a bigger handle. As you can see, it's easier to grab. This one's straight, but they're so flexible. They're so bendy. And it's just hard to mix up the paint with a plastic palette knife. And of course, I have a whole bunch of metal ones. I've got a whole variety of metal palette knives that I use all the time, but they're just not that great for mixing the paint with. They're kind of sharp, but they're skinny. I just couldn't really do a good job with them. So enough with the palette knives. I was like, well, okay, the search continues. So I went to a different direction. I was like, well, what do I use to, mix other stuff all the time? A spoon. So I started using just spoons. I had like these big old spoons. This one's got all kinds of paint on it, but this is even thinner than the stick. So it kind of hurt my hand even more. Plus, it's not great for mixing in the bottom of the cups. I had some smaller ones, but so it's nice because you don't have to throw them away. You can easily wipe them off, but this was just not ideal. So I moved on from the spoons. The search continued once more. For a while, I went back to the sticks because that was kind of the best alternative I had. So here's some more plastic knives that I tried. So then I was like, let me think outside the box a little bit. I went to resin. I looked at some resin tools because those, are meant to be cleaned off. And I found these, these are resin mixing sticks. And I was like, wow, these are pretty cool. And they're kind of, if you can see that on the camera, they've kind of got an angle. So they're a little easier to grab, and they got a flat end, and then they got a round end. I was like, awesome, these are pretty cool. But the problem with these is they're super slippery. So they were always slipping out of my hands. Plus, this is really sharp, and you could file it down, but these were just not ideal. You might have seen these. I got these on Amazon, but they just did not work the way I wanted them to. So I used them for a couple paintings, but then it just wasn't working. So again, the search continued. Then I thought, I'm going to get really fancy and really tricky. And so I went and found like a little blender. And this is, I got this way back when I was, really in my searching phase, and I was like, this is awesome. So it's a little tiny mixer. It's like by Norpro. It was like 10 bucks, I think. I got it on Amazon, and it actually worked great. It mixed the paint up. I would just go up and down in the paint cup, and it would take just a minute or so, but it would mix it up, and it was great. The only problem was there were tons of air bubbles. It like was crazy amount of air bubbles, and so there's no way you could pour with that right away. And I mean, I'm a very patient person, but I'm not that patient. So I was like, no way, I can't wait 2 days, which is about what it took for all the air bubbles to get out. So I was like, well, it's an awesome tool, and it was all, you know, it's electric and stuff, but it just didn't work. So away with the electric mixer. I was like, this is gonna have to be a hand operation. And then I was like, okay, this is so good. Like, it's the best thing I've found. Let me see if I can find an alternative for the big jumbo craft stick. So I searched and I searched, and I found something, and it was pretty darn good. It was these things. These are white, like stir sticks. They're plastic, and they're pretty much the exact same size as our craft stick. And these were for waxing, for like waxing your eyebrows and stuff. I don't know. I never have done that, but I found them on Amazon, and they're pretty darn good. The only problem with them that I found is they're a little flexible. You can bend them pretty easily, but they work just fine for mixing paint. They're pretty much exactly the same as our craft stick, only just a tiny bit more flexible. So this is kind of my go-to now. So I was using these for a long time, and I got these in a pack of 50, and they were about $10. And that's pretty good. I mean, 50 sticks for about 10 bucks. The other big problem with these, which I found a solution for, is it was hard to get the paint off them if you let the paint dry on the sticks. So it's possible, if you do get these, and I'll put the link down below if you want to check these out and find them on Amazon. But if the paint dries on these, you have to use alcohol, just rubbing alcohol, and really work it, but the paint will come off. But the best way to get the paint off of these sticks, or any kind of plastic tool, like whether it be like a split cup or your mixing cups or anything like that, is to have a bucket of water and keep it right by your mixing table. And whenever you're done at the end of your mixing session, just take all your sticks, wipe them off, then throw them in the bucket. And I have a bucket, it's right here. It's about 2 gallons, 2.5 gallon bucket, and it works great. This is like a painting bucket, and I only have about this much water in it. So about maybe a third. I don't want it like way up at the top. I just want a small amount of water, about that much. And at the end of my painting sessions, if I'm using, you know, the plastic stir sticks, or if I'm using split cups, or I'm using any other plastic types of things, I just throw them in the bucket. And after, you know, the paint will just start to kind of dissolve right off your plastic. So these are fantastic. And I was like, well, this is pretty cool. I don't think I can beat this. So I've been using these for a long time now. I was like, my search is over. I found the perfect mixing stick, and these are pretty close. But then, guess what? I found something else. And I gotta tell you, I love it. It is, I think, the perfect mixing stick. And I found it on Amazon, and it is these right here. And this is called, it's by Unicone Art, and it's a plastic mixing stick, but it's got a little handle on it. It is so awesome. Now it comes in a container like this, and maybe you've seen these on Amazon. I just found these relatively recently, only maybe about 3 months ago, 4 months ago. There's a 20-piece set, and it comes in a really nice container, and these are about $15. But that's pretty good for, you know, 20 sticks that you can reuse over and over again. Now these are quite a bit thicker than our wooden stir stick, our wooden craft stick, and they're quite a bit thicker than my other like plastic waxing stick, if you can kind of see that. They're about double the size, so they're not as flexible. It takes maybe a little bit of getting used to, but they work awesome. The thing I love about them, it doesn't cramp up my hand as much when I'm mixing like 20 different colors or something. It's a lot easier to hold, it's really durable, and the paint comes off relatively easily. Now you see this one, that's stained pretty good with some blue. I'm pretty sure that's phthalo blue, which is like a super staining color. But I do the same thing with these. Once I'm done with them, I just throw them in my bucket, and they're really easy to clean up. And I mean, they have there's the name is kind of printed on here. It's kind of like a laser etched. So you're gonna get some paint that goes in the words that you won't be able to get out, but that's no big deal. I don't care about that at all. These are really awesome. So I'm not getting, this is not a commercial for this Unicorn Art stir stick. They don't know I'm doing this video, but these are really great. And if you want, like, I think the ultimate stir stick for mixing your paints, I think these are it. I think my search is finally over. So I've got the Unicorn stick as my #1 choice. These are so nice to use. And then these plastic ones as my second runner-up choice. I still will use these all the time. They're really, really great. And thirdly, the humble craft stick. And I mean, you could reuse these as well. If you just wipe them off right after you paint with them, it'll stain the wood, but if you let them dry, they'll last you quite a while if you're concerned about, throwing them away all the time. Now, one final thing. If you have to mix a whole lot of paint, even the awesome Unicorn stir stick is not going to do it. You need something bigger. And so what is that? Well, that's these. And I got these just at Michael's. They're great big, massive, giant stir sticks. And if you got a big cup of paint and you got to mix a lot, this is the way to go. And I haven't found any, replacement for this. But what I do is I'll mix up my paint, because these are a whole lot easier to grab. They're longer. Even a regular, paint mixing stick is not out of the question if you're mixing up that much paint. But I'll mix my paint up, I'll pull out the stick, wipe it off, it'll dry, and I can reuse them again and again. So these are great. If you have to do a whole lot of mixing, that's my go-to for big amounts. Look how much bigger that is than the small, regular craft stick. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my tale of the mixing stick, and I hope this gave you some inspiration on maybe finding a different variation of a stick for you to use. I'll put the links below for the cool waxing stick, and also the Unicorn Art Ultimate Paint Mixing Stick, which I absolutely love. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next tips and tricks video. Bye for now.